Hello, everybody. Good evening. Well, good evening if you're in the UK. Not if you're where my guest this week is, by the way. So that's a very different time altogether, quite uncivilized. So I'm very, very lucky that he's agreed to come on the show. So it's another show, The Poetry of Painting. And we have more poetry and art for you this week. Do make comments and ask questions. We'd love you to be involved. And welcome to the show, whether you're watching live or on replay. So let me now bring in my guest for this week, all the way from Australia. It's Reese North. Hi, Reese. How are you?
Hi there, Fiona. How are you?
Good. How are you keeping? You okay?
Yeah, quite good. Yeah, just went through a minor worry with coronavirus, but I don't think I've caught it by the looks of it, so that's good.
Fingers crossed, fingers
Yep.
crossed. Thank you so much for coming on live this time. We recorded a show last time because it
Yeah.
really is a bit sort of silly o'clock for you, isn't it? So thank you so much for doing it live. It just, it's lovely when it's live because it's so spontaneous and, not that I edit out bits when we've recorded it anyway, but it's
Mm.
nice if people are commenting and you get the comments in real time as well. So
Yeah.
brilliant to have you back. And
Thank you.
I've got a lot to talk about, I think, about poetry and art and putting the world to rights, possibly as well. Who knows? We'll see where it takes us. Yeah. So this time you've been very kind to write a poem about another of my paintings, which is called Peace and Quiet. Now, I do actually have that here. Although it's an oil on canvas, um, hopefully you can just about see that. It was actually a bigger painting to start with, and I kept looking at it and thinking something not right with this. And in the end, I cropped it
Mm.
down to this size, and I just feel it works so much better. It focuses more on the little hamlet there with the smoke rising up from the chimney, and I think it just works so much better. So that's my story of it. And now, Reese, you didn't know anything about the story of the painting before you wrote your poem, so it's entirely your reaction to what you've seen, which is brilliant. So I'm going to put that on the screen so that people can see it as well. And I don't know if you'd like to talk about your poem and the painting first, Reese, or read us the poem and then talk about it, whichever you'd like to do.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll read it first, and then you cross-examine me if you like. If that's makes it even more spontaneously easy.
So it
Because
sounds a bit ferocious. Don't worry, it's all
oh,
very
I don't
nice and
mind that.
relaxed on here. So,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
sure.
Ritesh is saying hello, both of you. Hi, Ritesh. Thanks for joining us. So, great. Do make some comments, Ritesh, and ask questions, of course. So that'd be great. So, Reese, would you like to read your poem for us,
Yeah,
please?
I'll do. Yeah, I think that's good. I'll do that first. Yeah. Songs of Wilderness is the title I gave it. And then I've put an epigraph under it, acknowledging what inspired me. Songs of Wilderness, inspired by Fiona Hooper's painting Peace and Quiet. This will be going in a book, both this and the last one next year. Actually, I'll put both of
Oh,
these in, and I
excellent.
and I will be putting inspired by Fiona Hooper. The last one was Becoming Water, so Peace and Quiet is this one. All right, I will do it. Songs of Wilderness, inspired by Fiona Hooper's painting Peace and Quiet. In my secret place, surrounded by hills of yellow grass and the ever-changing sky, I begin to know myself. At night, before the crackling hearth, where flames give shape to dreams and other ways of seeing what is past, I have moments of harmony and joy. In my secret place, a breeze whispers through the grass. A fox squeals. Its paws tread lightly on the earth, while the prayers of an owl echo in the valley. In my sacred place, far from the din of factories and towns, I live with songs of wilderness and peace. That's it.
That's lovely. Really lovely. It just puts a whole picture around the painting, as it were, with the the fox and the owl, and just it brings it to life. And I can imagine being there and hearing those sounds and the crackling of the fire. Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Yeah, great. I'm glad it
So,
works for you. Yeah.
by the way, Ritesh said cross-examine. Nah. I think he knows me too well. I'm not a fierce person. Don't worry.
No, I wasn't worried. I just thought to trigger conversation. If you need to know things, what it was that got me. I always look for a way of entering a painting, anyone's painting, and in this one, I stared at it, and it was the smoke, and in the hamlet, and I noticed all the other ones don't have smoke coming from them. So I just imagined one person there, myself, and sitting inside that hut, and what I'd see. And so the smoke really brought it to life for me and put me in there. And then I just imagined my way through it, staring into the flames and, dreams coming to life, and then sort of getting to know myself a bit better by hearing myself. It's a meditation, basically.
Yes,
and then getting in the now, in that eternal moment thing that all the Buddhists talk about, and just hearing all the sounds of the world around me. So it brought the environment around me to life. And I imagined, well, the things that aren't in the painting suddenly became stronger to me, that they would be there. Of course they'd be there. There'd be the fox, there'd be the owl.
Yes.
It's, and so I brought those different characters of the natural world into it. And then, of course, I actually thought of it for a moment. It reminded me what the hills around the Lake District might be like.
Oh,
and so I imagined that world for Wordsworth and Coleridge, who lived in those areas. And so I imagined myself there. But
we've lost Reese for a moment. I'm hoping he's going to come back on in just a minute. Tell us some more about his inspiration from my painting. Here he comes back in.
What happened there?
Here he is. You disappeared for a moment, but don't worry, you're back again. So
I don't know what that was.
Right,
yeah, where was I? So I
about your inspiration,
So I imagined the Lake District where Coleridge and Wordsworth, and then the fox squeals. Well, that's only a red fox does that, and I think some of them bark, and they've got different sounds depending on where they come from. So that was a very Australian fox, because the red fox is, I think, native to Australia. So I was back here too. I was going back and forth between England and Australia. So so it really took me on a journey, this piece.
Excellent. Well, Ritesh says, so emotive and strong connection to the scenery. So that's another poet's view on your poem. So I think that's a really good thumbs up. Really lovely.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you, when you're writing, we've talked about your inspiration there and what comes into mind. How do you then compose the poem? How do you physically make it in those ideas into a poem?
Yeah, wow. Now that's I really don't know where all this comes from. It just comes, it's just sitting there, and I experiment with an image. So I looked at it as a secret place, somewhere to hide away from the world, and the distance from the sound of cities, factories, and towns. So those images flowing, I just let them go and sit back. And as I write an image in, I'll have a number of other images jumping into place, because I'm a very visual person. I don't know how people see. Some people see the world through words, others just by sounds. I'm visual and sound, I think. I get both. And a little bit synesthetic. Sometimes colours I can taste a bit, sort of thing. So there's a little bit of crossing over of senses with me. It's weird, because sometimes in watching a movie, say there's a really cementy sort of scene, I get the taste of dust. I can smell it, So I guess sometimes it can be unpleasant if it's not a very good scene, a nice place in a movie.
Yes. Yes.
So I do get that, and I've only recognised that synesthesia is an actual condition. So I don't know if it's a bad
Yes.
condition. So
Yeah.
I do get a bit of that. So, and that helps actually, because that strengthens my visions,
Mm.
because it brings in olfactory sounds and then sound, so smell, sound, sight,
Yeah. Yeah.
feelings come with it, and sometimes taste.
Well, the
So
smell is one of the most memory evoking of our senses, isn't it? They say
yeah,
that, you can see something and it might resonate, but smell really, if you know that smell from childhood or whatever, it really does trigger memories far more than any of the other senses. So it's interesting that you say that you get, when you're thinking of it, you can smell those smells.
mm,
I think back to certain things in my past, and I think, yeah, I can smell that. Like my mother's meat and potato pie or something. I can smell it. I remember that smell.
mm.
And, it is a very evocative sense, isn't it? So,
Oh,
um,
definitely.
yeah. And what do you do when you're actually writing it? So you're putting it down on paper, but are you hearing that more in your head rather than what you're writing, as it were? For the way that it reads, for the way that it comes across. How does that happen for you?
Well, I get an image, like a strong image, and the smoke did it for me, which put me in one person there in a secret place. So that's the first line, in my secret place. And then I looked at the environment surrounded by hills, because I wanted not to be just all my internal world. I wanted to bring the painting in too, the
Mm.
visual side of the painting
But
that was triggering all this.
but with
And
when you're actually writing it though,
oh yeah, oh gee,
like with Ritesh does link poetry. So the last word of each line becomes the first word of the next line. But with yours, you don't have that same strict sort of way of writing. But do you yours isn't really so much rhyming poetry, but do you have a set sort of stanza, is it, in poetry or something like that? Or
uh,
do you just do it by ear or what?
interesting, because I do a lot. Somebody said you're very versatile to me once, because I've done a whole lot of a book of Zen type, well, not really Zen poems, very short clipped 5-liners, and
Mm.
it's a book full of those, because I focus on just the moment. And then I've done a very long narrative poems, and these, it's really quite a mixture. It really depends on what I'm being inspired by as to the shape it takes. And that's
Right.
totally spontaneous for me. I don't have one clue how I do that. I just do it by
Yeah.
following my senses, my feelings, my visions. And then syntax, I'm very, like syntax is, I imagine everyone knows what that is, the way you put
Mm.
words down on paper to make them make sense, so that there's a connective tissue all the way through the poem, so it's not a jumbled word of mixed images that make no sense. I
Mm.
make it make a sense, but it's just one image follows on from the other. Sometimes I might have 10 images that I'm jotting down, but then they don't seem to work, and then suddenly it works. It just follows suit from the previous image. So I follow images more than words, and I find I stretch my verbal abilities out to the images to
Mhm.
make that take shape on paper. So it's really being dictated to me once I get the process going,
Okay.
rather than me dictating anything. I just follow
Mm.
myself through. I don't know where it's going to take me. I haven't got a clue. It's like gambling. You go and put money on a horse, and maybe you win, maybe you don't. And sometimes rubbish turns up, and I just put it aside. And sometimes I'll go back to that rubbish, and I'll pick an image out of that, and it will start the process again. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. So
um,
you don't try to fit your images into a set structure, as it were. You allow the
no,
images to dictate the structure of the
that's
poem,
right.
in effect.
Yep, yep,
Ah,
yeah.
different
So
way of
that
doing it. Yeah.
if ever you saw my poem, which is a lifetime of poetry now, they're all. I've got a lot that they all work in their own way. depending on the mood and the shape and what's dictating to me, it will take that shape. And so I've got all these, one variety, there's about 50 of those very short type pieces. That's a book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got another lot, which is narrative, tells a story. I wrote a lot about the Aboriginal stuff over here because I lived with Aboriginals here for 14 years, and I wrote a lot about that. And that's got a style of its own. I do rhyming poetry comes to me. I can certainly give you some rhyming poetry if you want to hear it. But again, that just takes its own shape.
Yeah. Do you have one that you know of by heart that you could recite for us? Be interesting to hear that.
Yeah. Widow's Lament. It's a triptych. There's 3 poems. It's called Sketches of a Short Life. Mm-hmm. And the first one is the addict who dies, it's his last sort of word to the world. The next one's the wife speaking to him, and it's called Widow's Lament, after he's died before the funeral. And then the last one's the friend speaking. That's the very rhyming one, the middle poem, Widow's Lament. Mm-hmm. And it goes, all my love you gave to him who dwelt inside your wino's skin. You gave no love to me. When betrothed, you went away, sent your spirit out to sea. I alone upon the shore held the key, your other door. I watched the fire in your eyes burn out young and leave me cold. All those dreams that should have been, cinders in the wind. I wept my dreams upon the sand. I knew you'd found your other land. You gave no love to me.
Wow, that's very powerful stuff. And very different. You know, I mean, I know the subject matter is so different, so it would sound different anyway, I would think. But, you know, so different from your poem about my painting tonight. So, yeah, wow. And then
each of those poems in that triptych are quite different too, because the first one, Artifact, by the victim of his own folly and addictions, is like three about 12-line poems. 12-line stanzas, sorry. So that's about a 36-line poem. Then there's that bit in the middle, which is quite rhyming. The other one's got a rhythm, but it's not rhyming. And then the last one is very much, they're in 3 different voices. And the last one is like the third person this time, with looking down on a friend after the wake, and it's called After the Wake. And that's it. That's in a very free verse voice, you know.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
So
you say you've got a book coming out next year?
I'm in with a wonderful poet's agreed to come. We're really happy, and I'm really happy. We're both really happy, actually, that we're doing it together. And she's a wonderful poet, a really gifted poet. And we're doing that next year. We're not sure yet how it's going to work out because we've got to pay for it. We've got the publisher. And we've got to work all that out yet, all those details, because that's the first book. I've never been one to chase publication. I mean, I've been in plenty of anthologies, but never put a book together. So this will be a shared book of about 40 poems each. And then then eventually, if I ever get it, I'll get my own book together. It's just, I'm just not a business person. I can't, you know, I just sit and write and then never think much of publication. I just send them out to anthologies, and I've got heaps of them out there, but that's about it. I've never really published, you know.
Well, that's going to be exciting next year then. I mean, my book's due to be launched on Sunday. And
congratulations.
Thank you. It's been, and Ritesh, who I think is still listening to us, hopefully, has just been an absolute star in helping me along with this, shepherding me down the right tracks and getting the right things done at the right times. And it's starting to look, well, you know, the little sort of example books that we had done. Sorry, just trying to grab hold of one here. They just look absolutely amazing. These are just samples though, so they're not the final version, but you know, the final version's 118 pages or so. And it's just coming out so much even better than I had hoped it would be. And it's so exciting, but it is a lot of work as well. So, be prepared for that. Maybe there's
Yeah.
always
Oh,
something
yeah.
else to be done, and oh, can
Yeah.
you just have can I have this or can you do that? But it's you get if you get out what you put in, sort of thing, don't you? But
Exactly.
it's been a very much a learning experience for me and really good fun, and I've just enjoyed it tremendously. And we're not finished yet because we still have the launch to go, and I will be putting details of that on Facebook so that people will be able to come and join us on that. It's going to be a Zoom launch because my poets in the book are so geographically spread out, that to get everybody in one place would be virtually impossible at the moment. And so we can have everybody come and join us from the comfort of your own sofa at home, and just come along and join us on the Zoom call and meet some of the poets and ask questions, have a chat, and come and support us. It'd be fantastic. But the whole thing so far, we've been raising money for Alzheimer's Research UK, and it's just gone absolutely fantastically. I've been so overwhelmed by people's generosity that we've got so much money now raised for the charity, and the sale of the books going forwards will carry on raising more money as well. So yeah,
That's excellent.
it's amazing. So come and join us on Sunday, folks, as well. It'd be great to have you on the call. So yeah. So the
That's
details
tremendous.
will be going out of the Zoom call, so that you'll be able to join us on that. So, and I know it'll be horrendously early morning for you, Reese, but you'd be very welcome to join us if you're
I'll do
up.
my
If you
best.
can't be, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. If it was me, I'd probably rather be asleep at that silly o'clock. But
Maybe
it'll
not,
be
because I'm a pretty early riser. I mean, yeah. So
well.
see how I go. I just didn't want to make a promise to you and then not turn up.
Oh no.
I
Well,
hate doing that. If I
it'll be
promise, I'll commit.
Yeah,
So,
no, it'll
yeah,
be 6 o'clock UK time on Sunday, the 13th, and that would make it 5 o'clock in the morning for
5 o'clock.
you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but and in fact, Sunday is Remembrance Day, which ties in quite well, really, with the Alzheimer's aspect of memory. We're remembering all the people who have given so much for this country, from not only people from this country, but people from other countries like Australia as well. We're remembering all of those people, and sadly, people like my mother are no longer able to remember things like that. And it's
Yeah.
also on Sunday World Kindness Day, so
I'm
another.
wondering about our days. Are we on the same day? Because you're like PM and
No,
I'm AM.
I'm still on Wednesday. You're on Thursday morning now.
Yeah, so Sunday would be Monday for me, 5 a.m.
Be your
Yes,
Monday morning,
right,
yes.
good. Okay, I would have
Yeah.
been up at Sunday at 5 a.m. If I'm glad I asked that, because I keep forgetting those distances.
Yeah, no, it'll be
Okay,
Monday for you, Sunday
yeah.
for people in the UK, and early morning for people in the US. So on Sunday, because they're behind us and you're in front of us. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. It'll be exciting and fun, and hopefully as many of the poets that are in the book will be able to join us as possible. So that'd be great. And I
Yeah,
can't
great
wait.
achievement.
Yeah, I can't wait to have a copy of the real full book in my hands. Just so excited about it. And we did a reveal the other day. I don't know if you know of her in Australia, but there's somebody over here she's very famous. Some of the younger people might not know her name so much, but there's Annika Rice, who's done quite a few television series. Lovely girl, has written the foreword for my book, and she wrote beautiful words, and I am so honoured that she's done that about my book. So
That's
yeah,
great.
really, really pleased about that as well. Really delighted. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, well
And
done.
exciting. Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to seeing your book next year then.
Yeah, well, whenever. We've got to do that. We're going to do print ready. We're going to take responsibility for print ready, because that'll
Yeah.
cost us a fortune, So We're going through that
Absolutely.
process at the moment. Oh, good
Yeah.
Lord. I've got a niece who can possibly do my share, so he's hoping.
Well, fingers crossed for you. I hope it goes really, really well. And obviously you'll be able to update us how it's going in
Yeah,
future
definitely. Yeah,
shows when hopefully you'll be
sure.
back to join me as well. So
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
that'll be
I
good.
like doing this because it was making me write new poems.
Ah, well,
They
we'll
go
have
into
to come up
us.
with some other paintings for you to write about then.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excellent.
going through a bit
Brilliant.
of well, I've written so much over the last year. I'm having a break. I think something's just stopped. I tried to write a
Right.
poem the other day and it was rubbish. So I thought, oh no, give it a break, let it rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to take that little bit of
Mm.
time away from something to come back to it refreshed and renewed, don't you? I think
Yeah.
it's like recharging your mental batteries, go out and walk in nature and, just look around and be in the moment in the world again for a while. And then you'll probably find then, it's had time and it's all bubbling up again saying, write me,
Mm.
or in my
Yep.
case, paint me. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope you come back to writing poetry very soon again, and
Oh, it'll
hopefully you'll
happen.
be good, and you'll be
Yeah.
writing another poem about another of my paintings.
Oh, definitely.
So,
Yeah. Do that because I find that a really good inspiration. Actually, I've done poetry to music
mm,
before, but and did one because um, Van Gogh was one of my mother's mum was an artist, my
yeah.
late mum, and she really inspired the family to enjoy Vincent and many
Ah,
other artists, but particularly Vincent was an absolute
yeah,
obsession. She knew everything about him, all the letters to Theo, and wow,
yeah.
just amazing. And then she went when Dad died. She went and did a diploma in art. She's done paintings herself. They're all around the wall here. And she
Oh,
was sort of
magic.
but it was late life because the way women were treated in those days. Mum was a housewife, and all that, and just totally dominated her life. When Dad passed, well, Mum then opened up, and this amazing
Oh,
artist came out of her. Yeah,
oh,
and if she'd have
lovely.
been painting all her life, I could see from what she was doing that she would have turned out some really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least, yeah. Sorry. Cool.
I wrote a poem to Starry Night, which is only a very short piece. And that's the
Yeah.
only ekphrastic piece I think I've ever done other than what I'm doing with you. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
But at least your mum came to it later in life, but she did come to it and enjoyed her
Yeah.
painting. So that's
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
right.
Yeah.
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 Brilliant. It's, sometimes you think,
Mm.
yes, if you'd started something years ago, how much different you'd be, how much hopefully better you'd be at it by now. But
Mm.
you can't go back and change it. So just
No,
enjoy it now,
no. That's
just
that. Yeah,
live
exactly.
in the moment as
Yeah.
much as you can, because once that moment's gone, it is
Mm.
gone.
Yep.
Make the most of every day, really. And, you know, yeah, that's a good
Exactly.
motto to live by,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm.
Well, Reese, we're getting towards the end of our time,
Yep.
unfortunately. It has flown past as normal.
Mm.
And
Mm.
been brilliant to have you back on the show. Thank you so much. And for getting up at silly o'clock to join me live as well, which is
Mm.
wonderful. So I hope you will definitely come back and join me again.
Oh, definitely. No problems with that.
Lovely,
I really
lovely.
enjoy this. It's very inspiring. And I love
Excellent.
your art. It's great stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very
Mm.
much. So just a reminder to everybody, sorry, saying it again, but it's the book launch on Sunday, this Sunday, the 13th of November, 6 o'clock UK time. Do come and join us on Zoom if you can. I'll put the links on Facebook, so you'll find them on there on my page. So thanks again, Reese. Been brilliant
Mm.
having you on. Thanks everybody for watching and making comments, and look forward to seeing everybody again next week. So
6 p.m.
take
6 p.m. UK time. Might be a good one to say.
7 p.m. UK time,
Oh.
6 a.m. your time.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. But on
That's good.
Sunday 6 p.m. Sorry,
Yeah.
was
And
that what you meant?
Mondays. No, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
For you.
yeah, yes.
And 6 p.m. 6 a.m. my end. Didn't you say
5
5 a.m.?
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Monday for you,
Yeah.
The normal shows at 7 p.m. UK on a Wednesday. So
Oh, I
anyway,
see. Right.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Getting confused.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Reese. Thanks everyone for watching, and see you next week. Take care.
See
Bye,
ya.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.